10. Ancient discoveries that can't be explained. In Turkey, a temple complex was already ancient before the first pyramid was planned. In Peru, stone blocks weighing 200 tons sit fitted without mortar, so precisely a sheet of paper cannot pass between them. In a university library in Connecticut, a 240-page illustrated manuscript has defeated every codebreaker alive for 600 years. These are not legends. They are documented objects in documented locations. You can visit every one of them tomorrow. Today we cover 10 real ancient discoveries. No mythology, no speculation, just objects, measurements, and the questions they refuse to stop asking. We start 12,000 years ago. Göbekli Tepe, Turkey, 9,600 BC. In 1994, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt began excavating a limestone ridge in southeastern Turkey. What he found rewrote the timeline of civilization. Göbekli Tepe is a temple complex built 12,000 years ago. That is 7,000 years before writing and 6,000 years before the wheel. The people who built it were, according to every textbook written before 1994, hunter-gatherers with no social structure capable of organized construction. The T-shaped limestone pillars stand 6 meters tall and weigh up to 20 tons. They are carved with foxes, scorpions, vultures, and lions. At some point, the builders deliberately filled the entire complex with rubble and abandoned it. Intentionally, systematically, no one knows why. The monument came first, cities came after. Everything we thought we knew about the sequence of human development has been wrong. Sacsayhuamán, Peru, circa 1400 AD. The Spanish conquistadors who first saw this fortress above Cusco wrote home claiming demons had built it. The walls are assembled from limestone blocks weighing up to 200 tons, quarried 35 kilometers away, transported across mountain terrain at over 3,500 meters altitude, and fitted without a single drop of mortar. Each block has 12 or more angles. Each angle matches the adjacent stone exactly. Not approximately. Exactly. The Inca had no iron tools, no wheel, no draft animal capable of this load. The sections of the wall the Spanish could not demolish still stand today. The Roman dodecahedra, Europe, 2nd to 4th century AD. Since 1739, over 130 identical bronze objects have been found across France, Germany, Switzerland, Hungary, and Britain. They are 12-sided and hollow. Each face is a pentagon with a circular hole of a different diameter. Some holes are about the size of a tennis ball. Rome documented everything: tax records, military manuals, architecture, philosophy. Not one Roman text mentions these objects. Not one image appears in Roman art. 130 manufactured objects spread across 4 centuries and across half a continent. The most literate civilization of the ancient world wrote nothing about them. No proposed use explains all the features. No consensus exists. If you find something satisfying about history that refuses to stay neat, subscribe. This channel lives in the gaps the textbooks leave behind. The Piri Reis Map, Istanbul, 1513. In 1929, historians found a map drawn on gazelle skin in the Topkapi Palace. Compiled in 1513 by Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis, it accurately renders the coastlines of Africa and South America, when European exploration of the Americas was barely 20 years old. The southern edge shows a continuous landmass matching the subglacial topography of Antarctica, the coastline beneath the ice. Antarctica was not discovered until 1820. Its sub-ice geography was not mapped until 1949, using seismic equipment. Piri Reis noted he drew from older source charts. He could not have mapped Antarctica in 1513. His map refuses to answer who did. The Nazca Lines, Peru, circa 200 BC to 600 AD. Across 80 kilometers of Peruvian desert, an ancient culture scraped away dark pebbles to reveal pale earth beneath. The result? 800 straight lines, 300 geometric shapes, 70 animal figures. The condor stretches 130 meters wingtip to wingtip. One straight line runs 9 kilometers without deviating more than 4 meters. From ground level, none of the figures are recognizable. They only resolve into images from the AIR. The Nazca had no aircraft. Experiments confirm the geometry is achievable with sticks and rope. The construction is not the mystery. The mystery is thousands of hours of labor producing images invisible to the people creating them, visible to no one, for centuries. The Nazca stopped around 600 AD and left no explanation. The Voynich Manuscript, origin unknown, circa 1404 to 1438. A 240-page handwritten manuscript with detailed illustrations of unidentifiable plants, astronomical diagrams, and bathing figures. It is written in an undeciphered language that no one has ever decoded. Carbon dating places the vellum between 1404 and 1438. It is not a forgery. It has been examined by military cryptographers who broke Nazi and Japanese codes, processed by artificial intelligence, and studied by linguists from every major tradition. All of them failed. The script shows letter frequency patterns, word length distribution, and character repetition consistent with real language. It is communicating something. After 600 years, no one knows what. It sits in Yale University's Beinecke Rare Book Library, fully digitized and publicly accessible. Every page remains unread. Pumapunku, Bolivia, circa 600 AD. Where are you watching from? Write it in the comments. At 4,000 meters of altitude in the Bolivian Altiplano, stone blocks of andesite, one of the hardest stones on Earth, are cut with channels consistent to within a fraction of a millimeter. Inner corners are exactly 90 degrees. Engineers' attempts to replicate these cuts using bronze and stone tools have failed to reach the same tolerance. The blocks are modular, designed to interlock like prefabricated components. Andesite quarries sit 90 kilometers away. The Tiwanaku who built Pumapunku had no writing, no iron tools, no wheel. 90 kilometers, 4,000 meters of altitude, 100 tons per block. No demonstrated method of transport, no demonstrated method of cutting. 1 century of study without resolution. The Dogu figurines, Japan, from 14,000 to 400 BC. Between 14,000 and 2,400 years ago, Japan's Jomon people produced over 18,000 clay figurines, the oldest fired ceramics in the world. The figurines have large divided goggle eyes, flat forward-facing heads, and compact bodies with seam-like lines running along the limbs. Several appear to wear helmets. One is posed in what archaeologists describe as a squatting descent, arms out, legs bent at 90 degrees. Many were deliberately broken. Arms, legs, heads were snapped off, and the fragments were deposited in separate locations. A ritual of destruction performed before the word ritual existed in any language. No Jomon text survives to explain why. The Costa Rica stone spheres, Costa Rica, circa 200 to 1500 AD. In the 1930s, workers clearing jungle for the United Fruit Company uncovered perfectly spherical objects of granodiorite, harder than granite, ranging up to 2.5 meters across and weighing 15 tons. Over 300 have been found. The largest are spherical to within 0.5% of true perfection. That is a tolerance achievable in modern manufacturing. Granodiorite does not occur near the Diki Delta. The material was quarried 80 kilometers away. Original placement data suggests the spheres were arranged in geometric patterns pointing towards specific compass orientations. The culture that made them disappeared after 1500 AD. The largest spheres now sit in front of government buildings. Some mark parking lots. They are the most precise manufactured objects in the pre-Columbian world, and we use them as landmarks. 10 objects, 7 countries, 12,000 years. None of these require supernatural explanation. What they require is more uncomfortable than that. They require us to accept that knowledge is not automatically preserved, that entire traditions of engineering, astronomy, and manufacture have died completely, leaving only the objects themselves, mute, precise, and patient. We call our rediscoveries of these techniques breakthroughs. The people who first developed them may have called it an ordinary Tuesday. History is not a straight line from ignorance to knowledge. It is a spiral, and we are not always at the top. These 10 objects are sitting in museums right now. What was the one that hit you hardest? Write it in the comments.